Here are 5 things you need to know about managing your remote staff. Where most people can make the mistake is they are not there in person, whether they're in the Philippines, whether they're in Central America, whether they're just in a different state. They don't consider them part of the team because they don't see them every day. And that's kind of the biggest mistake people make, is not bringing them on the team. So what you have to do is you have to have daily meetings. You do the same thing, whether they're remote or whatever. You just do it on Zoom. You talk to them 10 minutes, get the day planned. If you have weekly meetings, you would still bring them in. If it's a whole office meeting, you make sure that they attend and they understand. You have a Zoom open and they're able to see so that they're part of the staff. So that's the big thing, is making sure they're part of the staff. The other mistake that people make when they're hiring remote staff is because they can't see their faces a lot of times, they don't understand that they may be giving them too much or giving them too little. So most business owners feel that they're not doing enough. So they'll hire somebody to work in office, pay them more money, pay benefits, and actually hurt the bottom line, and it's a less productive person. And you're not actually bringing in more revenue, making more money, and doing what's profitable for the business. Third thing people make the mistake on is, and this is a big one and I see it all the time, is once they get a job and it's able to be done remote, you never go back to hiring somebody in-house or in your office to do it. And it's a common mistake. I notice it's pretty much everybody under the age of 35 does this if they're in some type of management position. So usually it's a daughter who was given the job from their mom. Their mom built the business, or their dad built the business and they give it to their daughter and they're just dumb. Or it's a son-in-law or a Son-in-laws are always the best because they end up screwing everything up. They pay them all this money and they think that managing is actually having people there. What you have to do is, 1, be very careful about hiring family. And 2, once you can see it's done virtually, you never go back. Your goal is to make it automated or have AI do it. That's the next step. As people grow their business and they get larger, you'll start to see their overhead gets more and more because they'll bring in that family member. The family member hires this guy or this girl who's a friend who knows somebody. They pay them, $100,000 a year. Then it's another person you're doing benefits on top of it. Next thing you know, your profits have disappeared. A year ago, it was done by a virtual assistant, but now it's being done in-house. The fourth thing is, if you hire from certain parts of the world, like the Philippines, they're going to be people pleasers in terms of they're going to just try to do it the best they can. They may not tell you that, hey, I don't understand this, or hey, I'm not 100% proficient in it. And you have to understand, they're just trying to please you in terms of what it is. That's a little different than what we see obviously in the United States, where it's just like, hey, nope, I can't do that. That's not my job. You have to be prepared for that in terms of they're going to try to do everything they can, and it may or may not be their skill. So it's your job to identify as a business owner, figure out if they can actually do the job or not, or if it's a skill, or if you need to train them, and go from there. The last thing you need to know when you're handling remote staff is it's going to save you a lot of money. It's going to save you and make you more profitable. And you can actually build an entire business. There are 2 things that you're going to look. Does it affect the client? Does it make a profit? If it does both of those things, that is what you want to bring in-house. That's where you want it in-house. So if it's going to affect the client and make you more money, that's where you're trying to find the people. If it only does one of those, so if it only affects the client but it doesn't really bring you in money, you want to hire it virtually or automate it. There's too much overhead right now in a lot of companies, especially ones who are quote unquote the owners getting ready to retire, and they've brought in people that they just think, oh, hire more people. Well, you need to hire right. And so if it doesn't affect the client and bring you money, both those things, look to hire virtually. The customer service calls in and has a question, you need it to have it virtually. Like, there's no reason for that to be an in-person. If you do content editing videos, like, there's no reason for you to have an editor in-house on staff. So those are the steps that I would do and I recommend when you have remote staff.